Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It's fantastic to have you here because this is part 2 of working on our Damascus steel Egyptian KHOPESH for the Liam Hoffman collaboration. This is going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of machining to do, a lot of bandsawing to do, a lot of forging to do as we start forging out this unbelievable blade shape. We went to you guys to ask what it is that you wanted us to make. I've got my work cut out, and obviously you guys often see I've got my my little earpieces here, Bluetooth earbuds, and I'm going to have an Audible audiobook on Bill Bryson, short history of nearly everything. Audible is sponsoring today's video, which is just fantastic because I get to just absorb information the whole way through, and it's also fantastic because they're going to be giving you guys a 30-day free trial and a free audiobook if you go to audible.com/forge. Thanks, Audible. Thank you guys for watching. Let's do some stuff. So, this has now been milled. I've got 4 clean, flat sides. This means that when we go for the weld on the ferry flip, it's all gonna be nice and neat and tidy, and hopefully we'll get perfect welding surfaces. And now, into the bandsaw we go! Change of plans. So, I'm gonna explain what a ferry flip is. Now, I originally thought this was called a ferry flip because the little pieces looked slightly like boats. Turns out it's because the gentleman that came up with its last name was Ferry. We have a piece of steel like this. Our pattern is running down the length of the piece of steel like this. The interesting stuff happens all on the end. That's why we want to see the pattern. I'm gonna bring it back into 2 dimensions. And now, how we get the pattern on the side and repeating the whole way is we do this. We make cuts like that, right? Easy, easy, easy. And then this is such cool. This is a really fun process. We then take this and we turn that up. And would you look at that? If we flip all of these bits up, we end up with a piece of steel whereby all the pattern that was going lengthwise is now going upward. And these angles of about 33 degrees or so means that we still get a pretty decent welding surface. It's not necessarily the easiest weld in the world, you know, you need to be very careful about it, but it does indeed allow us to do what we want to do rather marvelously. Right, let's start cutting. Oakley dokley, so I have all these pieces cleaned. I did a little bit of deburring. We wiped off the excess kind of, you know, there was grease on there and stuff like that. So it's all nice and clean now, and it's now time for us to orient this stuff. The pattern's still going this way, so what I will do is I'll turn this clockwise, I'll turn that anti-clockwise, this, this anti-clockwise, this clockwise, this anti-clockwise, this clockwise, this anti-clockwise. You see what that's doing is that's stacking up the same sides of the billet next to each other. Oh, whoopsie. Uh-oh, what did I just do here? I've forgotten which way it goes. Yeah, that'll work. Uh-oh, I've forgotten it again. There we go. So these are all arranged, and I hope correctly. It's now time for us to TIG weld all of this up. we stand now, this has been TIG welded and the forge is lit, because very soon this is going to be going into the fire to be forge welded. Now, as I was TIG welding this, I took my sweet time. I didn't put any filler metal rod down, just because I don't want to have too much to grind out. And yes, I still have to grind it out, because if I forge this down and I don't grind out the TIG welds, here, we don't have any pattern where we TIG weld. Because we're making a molten puddle, that pattern that we had then becomes molten, and then you're gonna end up with some kind of alloy of the two metals, some composite of the two metals, as opposed to the pattern that we originally needed. So if I want a good pattern, I've got to make sure that once we do the initial weld, we then grind it out. As I was TIG welding it, clamping it is very difficult. What I ended up doing, and this is going to have been the best way I've found to do this so far, is I stick a bar on top and I clamp the bar, and then I just take my time, I tack weld as many corners as I can, I wait till it cools down so all the stresses are relieved before I relieve the clamp, and even then, you know, it's pinging and stuff like that. It already has a warp, as you can see. But now, into the forge we go. Okay, so this has nothing to do with the KHOPESH we're making, but as you will have seen in kind of previous videos to this, we have started we have started to work on our 500,000 layer billet of Damascus. And so, while the billet of Damascus for our KHOPESH is cooling down, I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting this here. English. Come back to me, English. Come back! And while our other piece is cooling down, I'm gonna be cutting this up. And then, as I said, eventually this will slowly end up being 500,000 layers of steel. This is the piece. We ground it with the big grinder. The reason being, we're now going to go into the ferric chloride for an etch. Now obviously it doesn't look like much of a KHOPESH right now. We need to etch it to grind out the TIG welds. While this has been cooling down after grinding, we have cut off the rest of the pieces for the 500,000 layer Damascus steel. So that means I have 7 pieces, they're each 4 inches long. When I do the 7 times the 41, we end up with this number. Maths. Anyway, this is almost it. Ooh. Hello. Hello. So, as you can see, the pattern is really tight. It's really beautiful, and I'm very excited for how this is gonna look on the KHOPESH. But now another thing that you will have noticed, which is right there, is indeed, there are these lines across it. That's what I'm talking about. That is the TIG weld. That is the remnant of the puddle that's formed from the two alloys of the metal, creating something that's in the way of our pattern. So now, this is why I etch it. I can see precisely, exactly, and also fabulously clearly exactly where it is that I need to grind in the grinding room with the big grinder, chisel that stuff out of there, make this nice and neat. It needs to be done all the way around. You can see it's there, you can see it's here, it is everywhere, so it is grinding time. And we are back in the etching corner, and we're gonna etch this. And the reason for it, of course, is we need to double check. We need to make sure that all those welds are ground out of there. We dug in there nicely. A few seconds, we'll see. So I'll try and make sure to catch it in the light, and it looks pretty good. Oh yeah. Awesome! And into the water we go. Ladies and gentlemen, might I just say, this pattern is friggin' unbelievable. Oh my lord! Have another look at that. I'm pretty confident that we have ground all the welds out of there, and holy moly, this thing looks insane! I cannot wait to see what Liam makes from this once I finish forging it. Holy moly! I have worked myself ragged this week. It has been a lot of fun, but for now, I am gonna drive home. And of course, thanks to Audible, I'm gonna be listening to my audiobook on the drive home. Okay, I don't actually need to be in the truck right now. And I'll be finishing off the audiobook that I've been listening to all day today. It's a fabulous day and age to be living in where we can consume literally like a book a day. You know, like an average sized book a day while you're working or while you're commuting to and from work. It helps make the day pass just blissfully. Crazy day and age to be living in. I'm just so thrilled that not only has Audible built this incredible platform filled with books that is so fantastically easy to access, but I'm even more thrilled that they're sponsoring today's video and giving you guys a 30-day free trial as well as a free audiobook. Link in the description, audible.com/forge. But for now, I'm gonna go get some rest, and I'm gonna be seeing you guys tomorrow on part 3 of making this Egyptian KHOPESH, where we forge the blade, and that is gonna be an absolute blast. I can't wait to see Liam Hoffman get it, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye.